everybody's doing okay. Hope everybody is ready for the weekend coming up. I'm glad that the weather has decided to straighten out its life and stop raining for at least today. Hopefully, at least today. I don't know. Have you guys seen my latest posts on Instagram? I know a lot of you guys have been telling me, ditch the fender flares for the longest time on the truck. And I don't know if you've seen the video. If you've missed it, or if you haven't seen it, just go ahead and click up above. Give that a watch. I explained why I keep the fender flares on the truck. It is a pretty decent reason, I think, and it's something that's just been driving me crazy for a long time. And with the announcement of the new rendering and all the changes and everything, and the wrap that I want to put on the truck, the fender flares, they're going to have to come off. There's just no question about it. They're going to have to come off. It's a huge topic that people always bring up when they see this truck. The very first thing when people see this truck, they always say, that's a nice truck, but I hate the fender flares. And I have those occasional few people who actually like the fender flares, and which is cool. And for me, it kind of depends on the day, and for whatever reason, sometimes I like the flares, sometimes I just don't like the flares because flares. And over here, we've got no flares, and check out the difference it makes on the stance of this thing. Look at that. 12 wides. Make it seem like it's got a little bit more stance when it doesn't have the fender flares covering. But in case you missed the video, or you don't want to watch it, this is why I don't take the fender flares off, because I really can't, because this is what they've done to the paint. After having these flares on there for I don't even know how many years, a lot of time, a lot of years, and if it's rubbed into the paint, it is like it's going to need some. I don't know. It's going to need some sanding, massive sanding. It's going to probably need a little thin layer of Bondo or something, and some primer to smooth that back out to where we could wrap over this. And here's the flares. Not just done it on the back, but it's done it on the front too. We just have, it's not as bad, but you can see rubbing into the paint, rubbed through here, starting to rub through here, down here. So yes, those of you guys who just think that I keep the flares on there just to either annoy everybody or because I personally like the flares, that's why they're on there, because I can't take them off. Same thing on this side of the truck. And actually, just a little secret that most people on YouTube don't really give away. It's a little bit of rust on this fender. Underneath that flare, so that fender, I've got a new fender actually in the shed, and it's going to have to be replaced as well before we could do any of the vinyl wrap. Now, of course, there's going to be truck content in the video today. Not done an interior detail for I don't even know how long, and then we're going to jump into messing with the fuel gauge and see why the fuel gauge doesn't work. It actually, for whatever reason, when we changed the fuel pump out, the gauge, it worked. When I filled the tank up, the gauge actually worked, and then all of a sudden, the next time I went to drive it, it doesn't read anything anymore. So I don't know if that's like a bad ground on the fuel pump, or a wire is not connected, or something itself maybe isn't plugged in, or what. And then the next thing I want to mess with is I want to see if we can get the Escalade cluster that I have put in, and no packages for me today. Those of you who don't know, the Escalade cluster is a fairly popular upgrade to these trucks, and basically the Escalade started in, I think it was 99. I think 99 and 2000 they had the first model of Escalade, which was the GMT 400 model body style, just like these trucks, and they had a really nice looking interior. And one of the biggest, I guess most popular, harder to find pieces to that interior, aside from the fog light switch, is the gauge cluster. And a long time ago, I got my hands on one, and I've just yet to put it in the truck. To try to swap that into the truck today and get going on cleaning this interior up and getting this truck back to where we need to go. And I know you guys, by the time you see this video, you had either watched it or you missed it. But I had went live on Anthem Wheels Instagram page. They do something every Wednesday called Anthem Live, and occasionally they'll have members of Team Anthem and brand ambassadors of Anthem Wheels go on there and talk about the truck and everything, and try to kind of do a walk around and overview. So I'm going to be doing that, and of course I've got my Anthem wheels that I've had on here since I think it's like 2015, maybe 2014. I don't remember, but I'll be on Anthem Live, so that's a pretty cool thing that they do, and they have people actually get on their Instagram and just go live and talk about their trucks. It's really cool. So I'll be doing that, and hopefully you guys check that out. Hopefully you guys saw that, because I did post that on my Instagram story. I posted it on my Facebook page and everything. So hopefully you guys caught that and were able to catch Anthem Live on Anthem's Instagram. See, the truck is on now, and my fuel gauge, it's just not working. Like, I don't know, something's causing it to not work. I don't know what it is, but I wanted to show you this little OBD2 scanner. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'll link the link to the Amazon place where I bought it in my description. But I used this in order to verify and correct the timing on the truck. And I forgot to show you guys, I think, in my past couple of videos. But anyway, it's a little OBD2 reader. It costs, I think it was like 20 bucks, and it Bluetooths to your phone. So I downloaded this app called Dashcommand, which is, you have to pay for it in order to get the full thing. It's like $9.95, and then you could add different purchases, different vehicle settings on here. So you could add all these different ones. So of course I added the 1997 GM, and these cost $9.95 a piece, so $20 total on this app and $20 on the Bluetooth deal, so 40 bucks, and I'm able to see stuff like this: RPMs, engine coolant temperature, mass airflow or map sensor, mass airflow sensor, time in advance, and then the cam retard, current gear, throttle position angle, which is when you hit your throttle, of course. And something that I'm kind of really confused on is when we were correcting the timing, I was always told, and I was reading, you want to keep it within plus or minus 2 degrees. And the closest we got it was, I think it was like negative 0.2. And of course that changes and varies just a little bit. But what I'm confused about is I've got a little bit of hesitation still when I hit the throttle. It's not an instant. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that's maybe like some kind of vacuum leak somewhere, or maybe I had a faulty throttle position sensor or a faulty mass airflow sensor or whatever. Because when you go into the trouble codes, the diagnostics, I now have 6 codes, and all this stuff is new. Mass airflow sensor is new, throttle position sensor is new, evap canister is new, of course my charcoal canister is still stock, and my ignition coil is brand new. Ignition coil's AC Delco, throttle position and mass airflow sensor are from the parts store, so I don't know if I should be taking these back and trying to replace them and get new ones and see if maybe that's like a faulty part or what. But it's kind of driving me crazy because everything else is perfectly fine. So my timing is 100% where it's supposed to be. The truck runs absolutely fine and perfect, aside from that small hesitation. And from what I've seen on the forums and on the Facebook groups that I'm in, for some reason it's becoming a huge problem for a lot of people's OBF trucks, and I just don't know why. So I guess I'm going to try to replace those sensors, because they're a lifetime warranty sensors. So I mean, that's at least where I could start, I guess. So I don't know, it's just always something. But man, check out the amount of stance I've got when I don't have my fender flares on. It's absolutely crazy. That hesitation, man, it gets me. It really gets me, because the truck, you can feel the power back in the truck like it's supposed to have, and then you've got that hesitation and the fuel gauge that don't work, and that just kind of ruins everything. Oh man, I love the stance of that. I love the way it looks without the fender flares. It looks so much better. It looks so good. Like, give this video a like just because of that. Like, that side compared to that side, I've got to get something done with the flares situation on this truck. And like I said, with the new wrap, it's not going to have the flares. It just looks so much better. And I know I've been told a lot that I need a little bit wider stance, which, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, looking at that back tire, it's got a good 2.5, maybe 3 inches of poke out the side of the fender there. And it looks pretty good. And those of you who follow me on Instagram and everything, you know that I'm after a set of 22x14 Anthem wheels. And they've got 2 wheel designs that they had in 22x14. They had the equalizer and the intimidator, or the instigator. One of those two. I think it was the instigator. That was 22x14. I did order something to kind of help alleviate that situation, and that'll be here on Friday. So I'll be making another video out on Friday, something pretty cool, something that I've not ever done to the truck before, something the truck's never had on it before. And I'm really excited to see how it's going to make this thing look, because you guys may or may not know what it is just by those small hints, but I think it's going to make it just a slight bit more aggressive. Alright, what we have here is the Cadillac Escalade gauge cluster. And the first thing you notice is that the needles in the face is white. The needles on the regular clusters in the trucks they come orange, and the Escalades are white. That way you get that nice clean appearance. And what I'm trying to figure out is how to get the actual face off and get out underneath there so I can actually pull that odometer out and swap it with the odometer that's in my truck. Alright, after looking up a few different methods on YouTube of how to get these things off, I came across a few different ways that people are doing it. But there are pins that actually stick through these holes on the back. So you've got these 4 right here, and then all these little clusters right here behind the fuel gauge and the oil gauges and stuff like that. And what you could do is you could push all those out, or what I did was I stuck a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, in on this side of the cluster, where the hard plastic is, and you just kind of pry up on it and it'll pull out, and you'll eventually just be able to work your way around it and pull that out. So now we have access to the inside of the cluster. You can see all of the little motors and servos that run all of your gauges, and these are kind of a little bit rusty looking. So hopefully they work, and hopefully that's okay, because I don't really want to go through and replace all those motors and mess with the needles and stuff like that. But that way you get in there and you have access to all that, and another way to access all of your lights. And yeah, there's your odometer right here, which we can swap that out with the current one that's in the truck. That way our mileage is accurate, and everything should be good to go. Hopefully we'll be able just to put it back together and pop it in the truck, and with any luck everything will work, and it'll look a lot better. So one of the biggest questions people ask is actually, what the size of the what are the size of the bulbs that go in the instrument cluster. And as you see here, these 6 that light up the main face of all the gauges are just the regular 194 LED bulbs, which is what I've got put in there. But then you've got all the miscellaneous little lights, like the service engine light, security lights, brake, anti-lock brake lights. Those are all T5 bulbs, which are really small bulbs, pretty much the same ones that you have in your HVAC cluster as well. And those guys are also accessible from the back of the cluster if you wanted to replace that and just revamp everything. Turn signals, they're also 194s, I believe, and then your high beam, low beam, another little T5. So you can really take these things apart and just modify pretty much everything in there. But the thing is, you want to have a cluster ready to roll to put back in your truck, or else your truck's not going to start. Nothing's going to happen if you don't put the cluster back in. I've also got some cool tie rod upgrades. Maybe the first, one of the very few, I guess, tie rod upgrades I've seen for these trucks. So I've got that actually sitting inside of the truck. I just need to get some tie rod ends, so I can't wait to do that. And I've got all 4 ball joints on the way as well. So that's the things you got to do when you've got a lifted truck, especially this body style. You got to keep up on all that stuff. So I just went under the truck. I was going to check some grounds on the fuel pump and see if I could see maybe if there was a ground that's not connected or got loose or something, in order to make my fuel gauge not want to work. And I found this. It's like a cable with like a plug end on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't remember that. I don't remember ever unplugging it. I don't remember ever messing with that. I don't remember that little plug or that cable thing at all. So if you guys have any idea what that's for, and if I don't know if that might be for the fuel pump or the fuel gauge or something, but yeah, you can't see any of the grounded wires. You cannot see any of the plugs without taking the bed back off again, which kind of really sucks. Which means that I can't really check much. I can't really do anything as far as what I can tell. And that's about it. I can't really do too much when I can't gain access to those ground wires or anything. So yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is. I've got to get the truck somewhat sprayed down and cleaned off and ready to do the Anthem Live tonight. So hopefully you guys caught that, and that's about it for this video, guys. Not too much going on, but we are messing with that gauge cluster, and I'm gonna get that swapped over, and we're still messing with the fuel pump. Add a few more things. I do want to do some kind of a double DIN radio swap in this truck and get things rolling, but I've got to slow down my spending on things that I've been buying for the truck and to do some videos. So if you would please go down there, hit that like button for me and help out the channel. That way I can keep buying things for this truck and keep on adding mods to it and adding stuff to the truck. So definitely helps out when you smash that like button for me. If we can get over 100 likes on each video, would help out tremendously. And I appreciate all of your guys' support, constant messages on Instagram, all your new subscriptions on YouTube, and yeah, it's a wild ride so far, and it's just going to keep getting a lot more wild with the new truck rendering and on all the plans that I've got for this thing. So stay tuned for Friday's video, Friday or Saturday. I've got something that I'm adding to the truck that's going to give it a little bit of a different stance, and should be cool. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. Y'all take care, and we will see you all in the next video.